Okay. You guys all set? We are. No, I have to turn the beamer on. Give me a second. There we go. Yes, I welcome you to the talk about Megaspell, which is a computer game in recent development. But I will probably not talk too much about it because we have the lead developer and here, and so he will tell us much more about it than I can right now. Enjoy.
So hello everyone. uh, I don't see how many of you are there, but thank you for joining me, and I hope you're having a great time at the event. My name is Shimmer, and today I want to tell you about our game, Megaspell. It is a game inspired by Fallout Equestria, of course, and it was in development for some time already, but we picked up steam in the beginning of last year. First, I want to show you what we have now, a gameplay video and some features, then a brief project history overview, how it started as an attempt to port Fallout Equestria Remains, why we decided to have multiplayer, and how public announcement has gone. And then I'll tell you about our next milestone, which is a story mode demo featuring the tragic story of Stable 55 and unfortunate souls who are unlucky to consider it a new home. Then I'll talk about our plans after the story demo. I'll shine a light on our development process, how we play our strengths and manage the scope. And in the end, I'll answer all your questions. So no better way to start than to show you a gameplay video. Yeah. I hope it's synchronized. But yeah. So you can see here two players going on a quest to infiltrate an enemy camp and steal important data from a terminal. Now players took the quest assignment, and you can see quest marker is updated. Beside ponies, there are dangerous creatures in the wasteland, such as these bloodwings. As you can see, the combat is on arcade side with slow flying dodgeable bullets. And yeah, we have day-night cycle. Players here have waited for the night for better stealth. Now they change weapons for better distance. We don't have death animations yet, but there will be soon. Yeah, some propaganda posters. Looks like this terminal is broken. There should be another one. Enemies are on alert. Players should get out of here ASAP. Data is downloaded. Now job is done and time to get reward. Yep, quest marker updated. And yeah, of course there are skill and pitch checks in dialogues. Nice. Next slide. Thanks. To summarize what you saw, Megaspell is an action role-playing game with top-down camera view. The game has optional multiplayer or co-op. We have a big focus on combat. You can use firearms, magic weapons, attack and defensive spells, performance boosters, and more. Story and quests are there to direct player in combat and exploration. Role-playing elements such as stats and perks help with combat and story variety. And of course, you can explore the Equestrian Wasteland as we imagine it. Now, I'll go over some features of the game. If you're already familiar with Megaspell, you may know all of that already, so I'll be brief. Something that can't be missing from a Fallout Equestria game, a pip bug. Our version is called pip bug 2100, and it's pretty standard as far as pip bugs go. You can see your stats, manage your inventory, see notes, quests, navigate a local map. By the way, this incredible model was made by Detair. As you may expect, for character stats, we have attributes, skills, perks, or traits. With attributes, nothing really is changed. You should be all already familiar with special. But with skills, we have a few major differences. First, we don't have a dedicated big gun skill. We want to control that with strength attribute instead. The more your strength is, the heavier guns you can carry. You might notice that we have potions skill instead of survival. We still hadn't decided whenever we want any crafting or potion making. We certainly don't want to add a crafting system that won't be used by the majority of the players. So we will either make it good or just remove these skills completely. And there is telekinesis, a new skill. Right now it controls how good you are at levitating objects, but pretty soon it will be also used for jump height and self-levitation. You may notice that we don't have any skill named magic. This is a deliberate choice because such skill would be too generic. There is no just magic. There is elemental magic, healing magic, curses, and even very specific magic like the one that helps with lockpicking. If all of that was controlled by a single skill, it would be too overpowered. There will be no reason to not prioritize it. So what we want to do is to tie our magic to different skills. For example, high medicine means that you will be able to use powerful healing spells. High lockpicking means that you will be able to use a spell to bypass easy locks, and so on. As for traits, currently we're mostly just implementing traits mentioned after each chapter in the original story, but we also plan on adding our own. By the way, to clarify the difference between perks and traits, perks generally imply only positive effects, and traits can be fully negative or more often have a trade-off. We have multiple weapon categories, old and trusty firearms, a variety of magic weapons, melee weapons, and very soon throwable weapons. With weapons, we want to avoid the problem of having too many similar models. So each niche will have only a few models, but we'll try to differentiate them as best as we can. As for armor apparel, we have a system where an equipment piece can take multiple slots. So let's say we have 4 slots: body, head, eyes, and mouth. And in this case, chemical protection suit can use will use all of them at the same time. Armor will use only body slot, and some helmets are a combination of eyes, mouth, and head. As for how exactly armor protection works, damage model is still being tweaked. but there will be protection from different damage types for sure. Now about spells.
Sorry to interrupt. I would just tell the audience, please, to make sure to not film his face. He specifically asked to have that not recorded digitally because of the situation he's in. So I would please ask you to respect that. And if you film it, go ahead, just make sure his face is not in the recording. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. As I said about spells, they can be split to attack spells and defensive spells. As an example of attack spell, we have telekinetic throw. You can launch levitated object with large velocity in direction of enemy. As an example of defensive spell, we have hardwired shield that stops all damage for a short time. And that's all spells we have for now. We didn't really focus on that area of the game yet. So yeah, you may use basic character customization. You can configure colors, subspecies. Yeah, I should have included a screenshot with Bad Pony here. Main styles, talent marks, so pretty basic stuff. Right now there is not a lot of variety, but that's just a question of adding more main types and patterns. Yeah, and now finally to project history. Anyone here played Fallout Equestria Mains? I recommend it to you if you didn't. It is amazing roguelike shooter. So I'm mentioning that because our history actually started as an attempt to port Fallout Equestria Mains to Unity Engine. It was the beginning of 2019. At the time, I mostly was developing plugins for Minecraft, but I wanted to proceed a career in game dev. And I needed an experience with proper game engines to do so. So I straight up just asked Empao if I can port his game to Unity, and he said yes. And I started porting the game. Here you can see the only surviving screenshot from that time. I have backed asset menu. Not that interesting, but I don't have anything more from that time. Yeah. Oh no, not a lot of work was done. I was mostly just trying things and learning the engine. And unfortunately, it didn't go nowhere because, well, to be hired, I needed relevant experience and not making pony games. So I had to shelve this idea and move on to developing mobile games. But I still wanted to make Fallout Equestria Remains game, or to make a Fallout Equestria game. And between the previous attempt and what you know now as Megaspell, I experimented with different prototypes and ideas. Here is, for example, a 3D Pony top-down controller that used SFM Pony models. The next one is concept art for UI. As you can see, it's pretty close to what we have now. And now finally, in May 2021, I was able to have enough time and experience to start making a real game. This time I invited the cow and Quixie to draw 2D art. And we started developing a 2D platformer, just like Remains. Here's some art from that time. As you can see example room designs. So at first we used pretty simple style, then added a lot more details. And you can also see pony character rig. But we quickly learned that 2D games are actually very hard to do. The art quality required for stylized 2D is way higher than for generic realistic 3D. The difference between art styles is a lot more noticeable in 2D. The amount of custom art required is orders of magnitude higher because of, well, art style restrictions. We can't just use any 2D assets from the store. They will be too different from one another. In contrast, there is a lot of cheap or free assets for generic 3D style. So 2D character rigging and animations are also not in any way easier to make than 3D skeletal animation. And well, 2D lighting is not that easy either. You need normal maps, and drawing becomes way more involved. And not many will not agree with me, but a 2D platformer is just feels cheaper than a 3D top-down view, even though it is actually harder to make. So weighting all our options, we decided to create a 3D game with top-down camera view. Fun fact, the name Megaspell was chosen just because it sounded nice and it wasn't used before. So yeah, it doesn't have any special meaning yet. When looking at previous history, you might think that a lot of work was done and some of it was for nothing. But actually, everything that was done in previous iterations is less than 1% of work that was done on Megaspell, so nothing was really in vain. We learned a lot from previous attempts. So the Megaspell project started fairly slowly because, well, I was still working full time, and among the things added at first were, well, controllable pony, basic UI, stable tile set. As you can see on that video, this is the earliest saved video of Megaspell. After half a year of development, actually it was more like a year of development, we had a simple item system, payback, guns, and, well, test turret NPC. So not a lot, but considering that it was after the work hobby, I'd say it's a pretty good result. And then we decided to add multiplayer. Anyone who worked on multiplayer games is probably thinking, wow, that was a big mistake. Because yeah, multiplayer games are very hard to do, especially a server authoritative one like we have. Like, I spent a lot of time attempting to create a custom multiplayer framework. And let me tell you, there is very big difference between seeing moving ponies over the network and, well, fully functional, reliable, and fast multiplayer. I finally gave up on idea of a custom multiplayer framework when I found Fishnet, which had all the features that we needed. And after that, it took only a few months to rewrite the whole game for multiplayer, and multiplayer was ready on May 2023. Here is a screenshot of a timeline where green dots are committed changes. So on the left of that line is before multiplayer, and on the right is after. So as you can see, it was smooth sailing after multiplayer was added. So why have multiplayer at all if it was so hard? The decision to add multiplayer was incredibly bold and risky. It could have ended the project if, well, not for Fishnet. So here's my motivation at the moment. First, Megaspell needed a killer feature, something that would allow it to stand up on its own. Having multiplayer was such a feature. And second, well, I was just comfortable working with client-server architecture. After all, I worked on fintech software, and it was familiar. Front-end, back-end, you know. I wanted to use the same approach here. And there were cons and pros for this decision. So here are the reasons this decision was wrong. Multiplayer games at least 2 times, maybe 4 times harder to develop initially. It's important to note that after some time, development actually becomes easier just because your logic is separated. But initial development of multiplayer games is probably the hardest thing you can do in game dev. If there was no Fishnet, the project could have failed. I would be probably too devastated if I wouldn't be able to make multiplayer work. So we got dangerously close to failure there. And here are the reasons the decision was right. Well, multiplayer proved to be a killer feature. Every single mention of the game refers to it as having multiplayer. It allowed us to have a working prototype game mode that we can that was published, and we can rapidly iterate upon it. It serves as a test bed for all the new features. And well, because Unity game logic is threaded, in 2024 too, Separating client and server has allowed us to efficiently use multiple threads, so almost double the performance in some areas. Well, yeah, and I just enjoy client-server development a lot more, which is very important in passion project for a passion project. Yeah. I estimate that 70% of all work was done after May 23, so after multiplayer was added. This day it can be considered as transition from prototype to production. I also started working on that game full time. We finally announced the project on October 21st. This was not a planned action. We just had to act fast because an unlisted video teaser spread around like a wildfire. So we either had to announce right then, or just all that hype would be for nothing. So we had to speedrun the development, and public deathmatch demo was released a month later on November 18th. Somehow we managed to do so without game-breaking bugs. I count this as an accomplishment. And this is it for project history. More to come, of course, but now to what's next. Our next milestone is to release Megaspell Stable 55, a story mode demo with around 2 to 3 hour long playthrough. You play as a pony who was tasked with locating and investigating Stable 55 from your employer's information. This stable experiment is somehow related to talent mark magic. And your search has narrowed down to the area of northern mountains that happen to be far from well-traveled paths. In the past, a location of many crystal mines that provided much-needed resources for the war effort, now uninhabited, tainted lands, swarming with dangerous creatures who made numerous abandoned mines their dens. You start your journey at the base of the mountains on the perimeter. You don't expect to find sentient beings on your way, but with each step forward, you see more and more signs of recent activity. Turns out you're not alone here. You find yourself in the crossfire between two groups of ponies desperate for survival. And you have a choice to intervene and resolve the conflict in multiple ways, of course, including a peaceful option. Or you could ignore anything but your primary objective and go straight to discovering the secret of Stable 55. There will be 3 playable locations. The first one is called our town outskirts, and it's mostly open valley surrounded by mountains. The central point of interest here is a mining town called our town. Yes, the one from season 5. You see a lot of scars from years of crystal mining on the ground here. The second one is called Ruby Heart Mine, the most productive mine in the region. You will be able to explore above ground mine facilities, as well as the network of tunnels underground. But be careful in the tunnels. Some crystals has changed after being exposed for 200 years. And finally, the Stable 55 itself. No spoilers here. All I can say is that talent marks were heavily involved. The demo will have a lot of new gameplay features, lockpicking and hacking. Right now we have terminals and containers, but they can't be locked and hacked or lockpicked. Trading, an economy, leveling with decent selection of trades, a bigger selection of weapons, including throwables and spells, and also mines, bear traps, and yeah. Same with way better visuals and sounds. If you saw on that gameplay video how horrible grass looks, yeah, that will be fixed in the demo. Also better controls, including jumping. A lot of people asked for this one specifically, and self-levitation, and probably a lot more. Some of these features are not at all required for the demo playthrough, and they're more like a preview of what comes next. And yes, the demo will fully support co-op play. There will be no party size limits, but we don't recommend more than 4 players. I want to finish and release story mode demo this year, but it depends on a lot of factors. Something always could go wrong. Ideally, we'll be able to release it on Steam as a free game. But well, you know why? I won't be surprised if some issues will prevent that from happening. So in this case, we still have our launcher. By the way, our launcher is fully open source and can be easily modified to work with your game. It's on our GitHub. Check it out if you're interested. Also, by the way, game code is open source too. Unfortunately, it is not published at the moment, but if you need game code for some reason, you can ask directly. What's next after that depends entirely on the demo reception. If feedback is positive and nothing major comes up, we will continue in the direction set by the story demo. So that is create an actual action RPG with an interesting story and engaging gameplay. But it wouldn't be simple. Far from it, actually. There is such thing called project scope, a list of every feature and piece of content that project should have. And improperly defined scope is one of the main reasons why indie games never reach release. So we really need to make sure that our scope is something that we can handle. And we evaluated our strengths and weaknesses and set our focus accordingly. So our main strengths are first is, of course, programming, just because I'm a programmer and, this is our most abundant resource, all my time, basically. Next is 2D art, because the game doesn't need that much 2D art, mostly UI images and some involved posters and signs with pretty simple art style. Narrative, because out of all people who offered to help, most of them wanted to be a writer. So we consider this resource as plentiful too. The fandom is really talented in this regard. And yeah, we have a few weaknesses. First is, of course, 3D art, specifically the amount of it, because being the most expensive form of game art, it's understandable that not many 3D artists want to volunteer the time. So, and it's not about the quality. We have the custom art we have now is fantastic, thanks to Muravey and Deder. It's just the amount of it. And finally, the biggest problem of ours, and that is very hard to solve, is level design, because not only it is time consuming, it also requires a lot of dedication. Game level design is probably the most hard thing we encountered yet. And with that in mind, in our case, the limiting factor is content amount. So features are cheap. It's easy to do something once. You can prototype and do vertical slices all day long, but without content, it's not really playable. And content, on the other hand, is really hard to produce in large amounts. So with that in mind, here's how we deal with limited resources. First is we reduce number of custom assets as much as possible, and we use asset store and available for download assets for everything really, but it's most prominent in 3D. So all generic models are already created by someone. All we need to do is to buy or download them. That's why we aim actually for generic realistic 3D art style. This is especially relevant for models of weapons, props, furniture, and so on. Yes, having a weapon designs that are made for human hands and not for hooves can be immersion breaking, but having too few weapons is even more so. Next is focus on gameplay. Why focus on gameplay? Because implementing gameplay mechanics is almost fully on programming, and as in our specific case, is very cheap to create and tune. I fully expect that the game someday will reach a point where we'll have a lot of cool gameplay features, but there will be just not enough content variety to actually utilize it. This will need to be solved later. Next is we want to introduce some procedural content. I know this is controversial theme, but yeah, we had to do this basically. Procedural dungeons. As a way to expand playable area, we want to add procedurally generated dungeons. Imagine an equestrian robotics factory, but each time you enter, the layout is completely different. Some things like having a boss in the end of a dungeon is constant, but loot, puzzles, and NPCs may be different. To clarify, there are no plans to procedurally generating open world locations. First of all, I never seen someone do it, and it is actually enjoyable. And second, I'm sure I can't make it even remotely enjoyable, unlike dungeons or other interior locations. Next is procedural quests. If any of you played sandbox mods for Stalker, for example, like Anomaly, you may be familiar with the way we want to implement procedural quests. Quests will be generated depending on the current world state. So, for example, quests can reuse empty locations. Imagine having a quest to clean up creatures that infested some old ruins. After you kill them all, the location has no interest anymore to the player and becomes just dead weight. So why not generate a new quest that somehow involves the same location? And the second way we can generate quests is to tie them to procedural dungeons. For example, if you took a rescue quest, one of the randomly generated rooms will have a person you need to rescue. Next is randomly generated equipment stats. A very popular feature because a lot of people like to collect items with the best possible stats, so why not? This is very easy to add. Next is random encounters. Yeah, our game is not open world. Instead, we have a global map with locations on it, like in Fallout 1 and 2. And we also will have random encounters. So random spawns will depend on current area, as well as maybe some special encounters mixed in, like Easter eggs encounters or something. This will provide a good playtime source when moving on the global map. And by the way, if you're wondering why there is a 3D model of a muffin on screen, don't worry, I don't know either. Modding. Some people asked about if the game will be moddable, and yes, the game is moddable using data packs. Think of them like a combination of resource packs and data packs from Minecraft. Clients can automatically download data packs used on a server, so server host doesn't need to distribute mods to players. This also works in case of just co-op play, so only the co-op host needs to actually install data packs. Yeah, so it works like Garry's Mod. You can add or modify content such as quests, dialogues, items, sounds, and more. You can change game behavior by writing custom JavaScript code. And yes, of course, scripts are sandboxed and can't do anything outside the game, so they won't harm your system. You can add your own translation. Oh no, modding API will allow you to create custom scenarios or even full stories, but it won't be all powerful. For example, we have no plans to allow map editing or to add new models or to allow editing UI. Mostly because data packs are primarily intended for our own internal development, and having a map editor is out of project scope. We hope that in combination with admin tools, this will allow people to create custom game mods, for example, for roleplay scenarios. if Megaspell has interested you, we're looking for contributors. First, the most important role, we're looking for level designers. Unity engine experience is not really required. If you know any 3D editor, you'll find Unity very familiar. You just drag objects from the palette and place them on level. Writers, you can help to create game narrative by writing dialogues and quests. We're using Yarn Spinner dialogue format, but you can write in plain text too. It shouldn't be a problem. 2D artists. So 2D artists in Megaspell is pretty much limited to UI and posters or signs, and art style is pretty simple. So this is a good option for beginners. And 3D art. Among the needed models are buildings, items, armor, other props. We generally use PBR pipeline with default smoothness and metallic, but specular workflow works too, and even unlit models are okay. It depends on the context. Translators. We have a number of translations already, but we're all looking for people who are willing to translate the game from English to other languages. Right now we're using just Google Sheets, but soon we'll switch to using Togi, which is very similar to Crowden. And for everyone else, just feedback is also helpful. If you check out the game, tell what you like, tell what you don't like. It'll help us very much. And that's the end. Yeah, thank you for attention. Here are people who helped to make Megaspell a reality, and here is our website and Discord group if you want to check out the game. Now, any questions?
Yeah, the best thing is to just, okay, yeah, you can, there you go. All right, best to just stand in front of there so he can see you, and I will hold the microphone for you as well.
I don't hear you, you're muted.
All right.
Oh, okay, I'm muted. There we go. Okay, yeah, there's your applause.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Okay, sorry. Thank you, guys.
So yeah, 3 questions. I myself work with Unity at work. What kind of render pipeline you using? URP or HRP or whatever?
We're using URP, and it's with a little customizations.
Okay.
Pretty much default URP, forward renderer, and we'll be moving to forward pass renderer soon.
Okay. Yeah. Especially as I heard, your materials are quite simple, and even some unlit ones. Nice. Second question is, you showed that minimap with the dots for committing changes from the engine. So we're at work using Git with Tortoise, if you know that. I don't know. So what kind of program or software
control system?
Yeah. What
Like
you're using?
Yeah. We're using Git, of course. Git with FOS hosted on GitHub.
Okay. Yeah, because
The repo is
problems
currently
with that
30
at work,
gigabytes in size.
we have problems with that at work, and maybe we use plastic. Do you know plastic? It's actually able to be used with Unity. It's compatible with Java.
Well, I don't think at this point we can really switch from Git, but yeah.
Yeah, plastic is more for artists and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and the third question was, you using the Unity Asset Store or for some of your models? Like, okay, so if you're
we're using really any asset store. Just whenever we find a good looking asset.
Yeah, because I figured if you don't have, is it right you don't have many 3D artists from what I heard, or?
We have one that is very active, and some others contributed, and yeah, so we have one that is active.
Yeah, because I figured that when you're using something from Asset Store, for example, it often needs heavy modification to work, or often those models are kind of shit and broken as you get them from the store. That's at least my experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just modify them usually myself. I'm not really skilled in 3D, but I can fix bad topology or something.
What you're using for 3D package software?
Blender, of course.
Oh, okay. Nice. Me too. Okay. Yeah, maybe I will join your Discord, but now I have not much time, maybe half a year or something, because I do Blender too and would be interesting maybe to help you guys. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, that's already some semi-addition to your team. Do we have more questions for now? About anything really? I can play that video once more.
No, I just used it as.
Oh, okay, as a backdrop. Okay, I see. Yeah, I think the audience is a bit bamboozled right now and is very happy. So we will have a setup later in probably the dining room where you can play a test build which they just released for us. Can you maybe tell us a bit more about that specific build or like the state that one is in?
I can. That build, actually, this is it on a video. Basically, we entirely changed how the game looks. Before it was Wasteland was pretty arid, just dry ground. Now, as you can see, it's a lot more colorful. Yeah, we changed how camera works. It now should feel a lot more pleasant. Other terminals, basically, some there was some, I think, more than 100 bug fixes or so. Also, so if you played Megaspell before the old builds, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how it's changed in the new build.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. I think that's all the questions of the audience for now. So we had the Discord link up earlier where people can go check out. Also, the website is simply megaspell.net, N-E-T, so it's quite easy to remember. And I think that's it. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. Yes, we have the demo playable later, so go check that out. And then you have a wonderful weekend, and we will have a wonderful weekend as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending the presentation. It's actually my very first one. Yeah.
That was, you just said that this was your first presentation, and I think that was a very wonderful presentation. But it fits the theme because that was the first con I am hosting. So we are both on our first attempt here, and I think it worked quite well, except for the part that you couldn't see the audience. I'm sorry for that. I have learned that now. That's important. And I will send you a few pictures, though, from the audience earlier.
Thanks.
Okay. Great.
Everyone have a great time at the event. Yeah.
Thank you.
There she goes up the road. I'd take a chance if I was bold. Tell the truth, her heart is gold. I'm in love. Maybe she'd be doing chores, mending fences, squeaky doors, baking pies and washing floors. I'm in love. If there's trouble or commotion, that's when her plan goes to tell her that she's mighty fine. And with a little bit of luck and a little bit of time, that sweet little girl's gonna be all mine. With those perfect freckles and those big green eyes, I'm in love. If I could and if she'd have it, I'd turn this longing into habit. I bet that it causes stir. If I could shout out, I'm with her. My friends say, man, you're out of your league, but she's everything that I needed to be. They might be right, but speaking honestly, I'm in love.